Ladies and gentlemen, William Barr has set a release date for the Mueller report. Justice Department states that the Mueller report will be released this Thursday. Okay, so this Thursday, April 18th. So let's just read. The Mueller report will be released Thursday. Justice Department says, Attorney General William P. Barr will release the highly anticipated. Okay, so it goes on to say, it's going to be released Thursday. And, oh, by the way, it'll be color-coded, which is absolutely hilarious. I explained that in a segment yesterday. But it's going to be absolutely hilarious. Democrats and my buddy HB did a great segment on this. There are Democratic pundits who think that the Mueller report was narrow. The Mueller probe was narrow in focus. Not only was it overreaching, not only was it so broad that Paul Manafort's ostrich feather jacket meant that President Trump was working with Putin to buy Facebook ads and infiltrate the DNC. But it was so sprawling, there was no crime that preceded the investigation. When you're trying to, and I explain in my Federalist article below, share that everywhere. I explain that Comey, Strzok, and McCabe will be charged under the legal statute that is devoted to people, government officials, who conspire to defraud the United States of America. It's the same legal statute. You'll have to look at the article in the Federalist that I wrote. It's the same statute they tried to use against President Trump. They said, well, there's no collusion, but there's this law that he broke. They tried to weave a grandiose tale, a fantasy, with a Steele dossier purchased by Hillary Clinton, a CrowdStrike tech firm outsourced by Hillary Clinton, Alexander Downer linked to the Clinton Foundation, who spoke to Papadopoulos about, well, that's a whole, absurd, well, somebody said that Papadopoulos said something. And then you had the Steele dossier that makes allegations that are completely bogus and fantasy. Then you have, the Papadopoulos. Then you have the CrowdStrike assessment that the United States government uses. And I explain in the article, in the Federalist article below in the pinned comment, that just because there are allegations and people like Strzok and McCabe and Comey utilize these allegations, that doesn't mean the suspicion is warranted, nor does it mean investigations are justified. You need a predicate crime or evidence. You can't go and say, well, my political rival, I'm going to purchase a dossier, and then I'm going to say that a lot of people close to him have spoken to somebody in another country or an intelligence agents from another country, and that's going to lead to investigations into this person's campaign, and we're going to, infiltrate the campaign and all that stuff. In addition to, they infiltrated Trump's campaign with a guy named Stephen Halper. So just look, a Steele dossier, a bunch of gossip, nonsense, pure fantasy, not just unverified, literally written by a Democratic operative. Christopher Steele was a Democratic operative. He was hired to undermine Trump's campaign, and he did so allegedly with Russian sources. So Clinton colluded with those sources. You say, well, she funneled money through her law firm. No. She colluded with those sources. If Trump had done the same thing, I mean, they were trying to go after Trump Jr. for simply speaking to Natalia Veselnitskaya about emails from Clinton's servers outside of the United States government. What they did was they tried to shield her criminality, save face for her loss, by saying, you know what? Not only did James Comey cover up the fact that she had servers outside of the United States government with top secret intelligence on them, so how she was able to transfer, how people were able to email classified and top secret and special access program intelligence to her, nobody knows. Nobody knows. But not only that, she was able to purchase a dossier that was utilized by the United States intelligence community under President Obama's administration. She purchased 2 years of an investigation into nothing. It was like the bridge to nowhere. It was a fantasy. So everyone subscribed to a great channel. His name's Hard Bastard. He's awesome. He does amazing work. He's a friend of mine, and I've been on his channel many times, and he's just amazing. HB is awesome. And he's a bulldog like me. He's tenacious. He's more tenacious than I am. And I'm, pretty driven. But he's amazing. And he did a segment recently. There are Democratic pundits that say, well, the Mueller probe was too narrow. It's like, what more do you have to do? The whole thing was, well, we've indicted 30 plus people. Yeah. They had nothing to do with Trump-Russia collusion. That actually, inherent in the fact that people are 30 plus people without any link to Trump-Russia collusion, inherent to that fact is the reality that this was a sprawling, overreaching, broad, ambiguous probe where they tried to find the existence of a crime. There was nothing that... Trump did not work with Putin to buy Facebook ads and hack the DNC. The only reason people, the quote-unquote intelligence community, it should be the unintelligent community, the lack of intelligence community, the only reason that spy chiefs say, under President Obama and now under President Trump, that, well, the Russians interfered in the elections, that they have to justify their budgets. They didn't interfere in the election. Not one vote was altered. If the rebuttal is, well, how do you know? Exactly, how do you know? When you make an affirmative claim that they interfered, you need to explain how many votes were altered. You can't just say, well, of course, it was some votes. Some votes doesn't mean they interfered in the election. The vice president of Facebook advertising states the following here. So, President, Vice President, VP, Facebook. So the Facebook, okay, and then of course he apologized after actually telling the truth. So he tweeted out, the majority of Russia, so here's what he tweeted. The main goal of Russian propaganda and misinformation efforts is to divide Americans by using our institutions. Here. Yeah, right. That's a little bit hilarious. What he said was this, though. Most of the coverage of Russian meddling involves their attempt to affect the outcome of the 2016 U.S. election. I have seen all of the Russian ads, and I can say very definitively that swaying the election was not the main goal. They didn't sway the election. The majority of Russian ad spend happened after the election. We shared that fact, but very few outlets. Very few outlets publicized this. Okay, so because it wasn't part of the narrative. So few covered it because it doesn't align with the main media narrative of Trump and the election. The main goal of Russian propaganda and misinformation is to divide America. We were so divided before this election, the 2016 election. We were more divided than ever because of the actions of Democrats, because of Correct the Record and everything else. Clinton cheating Bernie Sanders, and even before the DNC emails, we knew that something was wrong. A lot was wrong. Okay. The Daily Beast published an unethical hit piece on me. Why? Because I was a hardcore Bernie Sanders supporter. Now I'm a Trump supporter. Raw Story published a hit piece on me because I was a Bernie supporter and because I was a Trump supporter and a Second Amendment advocate. But HB did a great job just dismantling this one pundit's hope and desire to just keep this bizarre fantasy alive. President Trump did not work with Russia to buy Facebook ads and infiltrate the DNC. The only evidence we have that the DNC was even hacked is from CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is a third-party tech firm that was outsourced by the Democratic Party. The United States government never confirmed that Russia hacked the DNC ever. That is a fact. Even James Comey's like, well, they wouldn't let us, The vice president of Facebook explained, those ads did not sway anyone. Most were seen after the election, and the goal wasn't to elect Trump. But they just can't get it in their heads. The left spent 2 years making definitive, declarative, categorical statements. Trump worked with Russia. It's the next shoe to drop. The dominoes are falling. We're going to connect to the dots. It's Connect 4. We're playing checkers. It's Duck, Duck, Goose. It's, whatever. The sky is falling for Trump. And nothing happened. They now have a color-coded, hilarious color-coded, coloring book that they're going to color into the light, like the Buff Bernie coloring book. They spent 2 years, and all they got for it was a coloring book. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So, it's just, at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton transferred top secret and special access program intelligence outside of the United States government onto servers located in her basement. I think it was in her bathroom. And she utilized these Microsoft Exchange software she used to run these servers. And she had top secret and special access program intelligence outside of the U.S. government. And, of course, she shipped a laptop in the mail, according to the Daily Beast. I have a segment below in the pinned comment. That's almost at 200,000 views regarding that. Clinton will eventually get indicted. And guess what? She's right. She's running again. So it's very likely she'll get indicted after she loses the 2020 election, which will be glorious. Democrats think they have a political party. They don't. They're not going to go with Klobuchar 2020, and they already cheated Bernie Sanders. And the power base has been emboldened. The same people who run the Democratic Party are still there. Okay? Only this time they've pacified, they've corralled Bernie Sanders, who was essentially took a dive in 2016. And then promoted the same Russia myth that stated that he and Jill Stein were pawns of the Russian government. But ladies and gentlemen, it's this Thursday. You're going to see it's going to be like, you know how like those monster trucks? Thursday, the Mueller report. But like sometimes the monster truck can't runs out of steam. It just can't jump over or kind of, drive over a certain other car, and it's kind of just falls to the side. That's what you're going to see with the Mueller report. They spend now they're going after his taxes. I mean, they haven't skipped a beat. They all they care about is, hurting and harming and undermining a duly elected president. And they're going to lose again. Trump is already out raising all of them. He's like $30 million. I think the closest person is like 20-something with Bernie. But they cheated Bernie. He has no chance, zero chance this year. The Democratic Party. He had a chance when I was saying. When I was writing, that was his chance. In a fair primary, he would have won in 2016, but thank God we have Trump. Thank God. That's why I'm voting for Trump 2020. People say, how do you go from Bernie to... Read my article in The Federalist, why Bernie Sanders supporters should vote Trump 2020. Peace between North and South Korea. That alone is enough to justify voting Trump 2020. That's a paradigm-changing moment in world history. The beginning of peace. Bringing home Americans from counterinsurgency conflicts is also a paradigm-changing moment. Well, he hasn't done it yet. Yeah, I know, because Democrats and media want to stop him. Even Bernie was like, I don't really, it has to be an orderly withdrawal. Like, yeah, right. Okay. Just parrot the same talking point. That's like that was the best thing of Bernie Sanders in 2016. And now he's like, well, they have to come home orderly. What does that even mean? Great economy, manufacturing jobs, record low Black and Latino unemployment. You have a growing economy with more job openings than workers to fill them. It was an orange monster who worked with Putin. The world is laughing at us because of the Democratic Party, not because of Trump. The majority of the world respects Trump. It's the Democrats that people are like, what's going on? What are they doing? And they'll lose again. And when they lose, it's going to be the implosion of Twitter as we know it. The Twitter theocracy that they worship. Give me your thoughts. Check out HA2A below in the pinned comment. I am eventually going to continue uploading. It's just I've taken a little hiatus from it again. But it's my firearms channel. My Patreon is below in the pinned comment to support my voice long term. And check out my writing in the Federalist, the Jerusalem Post, the Daily Caller. Check out my latest Federalist article below in the pinned comment. This Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, be here on this channel. I will have a whole bunch of live streams and, of course, uploads.